Okay, today we're going to relate fractions to one whole, and we're going to show that using a number line. So let's see, Steve ran 1 mile, 1 whole mile, and Jenna ran 4/4 of a mile. So what we want to see is, did Steven and Jenna run the same distance? So here we have 1 whole mile represented with just a 1 because it's 1 whole. And then we have 4/4, which is a fraction. So we want to see if this fraction, 4/4 of a mile, is the same as 1 whole mile. We want to know, did Stephen and Jenna run the same distance? So we're going to look at this number line and we're going to locate 1. So we always start our number line at 0. So here's our 0. And we're going to go all the way to the other side, and here's our 1. So we end our number line with 1. So remember, a fraction is a part of a whole. So all the fractions are going to be in between 0 and 1 whole. So if we're looking at our number line, we can see that the 1 whole is right here, and it ends our number line. It's that last line on our number line. So then we want to locate 4/4. So we're going to look here, and the first thing we see is this is on the 0 line. So if we're right here on the 0 line, then that means that we have 0/4. We don't have any yet. If we look and we go to our next line, we can see that now we have 1 whole 4th. Okay, 1/4. So that means our fraction at this first line is going to be 1/4. Okay, if we go to our next line, we can see now we have 1/4 and another 1/4. So 2 1/4, 2/4, that's going to be our fraction. Really hard time doing the 2's. There we go. 2/4. Okay, so now we have 2 pieces of the whole, 2/4. If we go to the next line on our number line, now we have 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. We now have 3/4. There we go. Okay, so now the fraction for this line is 3/4. If we go to the next line on our number line, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4/4. So that last line is going to be our 4/4. So did they run the same distance? Well, here is the 4/4 on our number line, and that 1 whole is on the same line. 1 whole and 4/4 are on the same line on our number line, which means they are the same amount. So any 2 numbers that fall on the same line on our number line are equal. If 2 numbers are located at the same point on a number line, then they are equal and represent the same distance. So 1 and 4/4 are on the same line, so they are equal, the same distance, which means Stephen and Jenna ran the same distance. So whenever we think of 1 whole, we know that the top number of our fraction is how many pieces that we're counting, and the bottom number of our fraction is how many total pieces there are in the whole. So if those 2 numbers are the same, that means we have the whole thing, 1 whole. So 1 whole and 4/4 are the same. They are equal. So let's take a look on our next page. We have a number line again, and we want to see, here we go, we want to see if these 3 sections of our number line are equal. So we're going to find 3/6 and we're going to put a point. We're going to find 6/6 and we're going to put a point, and then we're going to find our 1 whole and put a point. So let's take a look right here at our number line. I'm going to move it down just a little bit here. Need this part down here. All right, so we know that the very beginning of our number line, always 0. So that's going to represent 0, and it's also going to represent the fraction 0/6. So looking at our number line, we have 0 here. The next one, if we made our first jump, because there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps. So we know that in one whole we're going to have 6 jumps. So our denominators, all of our denominators here are going to be 6, because from 0 to one whole there are 6 jumps. So the number in the whole is 6. That's always going to be all of our denominators. We need to figure out our numerators. So if we're looking at our first jump, going from 0 to make our first jump, we've made 1 jump. So that means we're at 1/6. Then we make another jump. That would mean that we're now at 2 jumps, 2/6. Okay? Now if we make another jump, boom. Now we've made 3 jumps. So we're at 3/6. And that was our first one that we had to make a point at. So we're going to, let me make it a different color here. Actually, watch this. I'm going to do it this color. Here's our first point. Okay, that's 3/6. Now we're going to make another jump. So here we go. Whee! Boom. That was a bumpy jump. So now we have 4 jumps. So that means that's our fraction 4/6. 4 out of the 6 jumps. Then we're going to make our next one. Whee! Boom. That's now our 5th jump, which means we're at 5/6. 5 jumps out of the 6 total. Then one more jump. Boom. That's our last jump. And that would be 6 jumps out of the 6 jumps. So we have 6/6. So we have to make a point. That was our next one, 6/6 up here. So we need to make a point at 6/6. Here we go. Ready? Boop. Then the last one is 1 at 1 whole. So remember, the whole number line is our 1 whole. So we already have a point at 6/6. Oops. Just kidding. We don't want that point. That's the point in the middle of there. There we go. So now we have a point at 3/6, a point at 6/6, and a point at 1 whole. So we can notice here that if we're at 3/6, is that equal to the 1 whole? Here's 3/6, here's 1 whole. Not on the same point. So the answer is no, they are not equal. So over here, they are not at the same point. No. But if we look at the next one, 6/6 and 1, are they equal? Here's 1, here's 6/6. They share the same point. So yes, they are equal. So if we're comparing these fractions, okay, we can see that 3/6 is not equal to 1 whole, but 6/6 is equal to 1 whole. We can see that 3/6 is actually less than 1 whole because we have to go back 3 jumps to get to it. So we can compare these fractions by putting them on our number line. Let's take a look at one more example. So here we have a number line that has 1, 2, 3 jumps. So our denominators are going to be 3, because to make that 1 whole, we have to do 3 jumps. So all of our denominators are going to be 3. If we make 0 jumps, then it's 0/3. If we make 1 jump, 1/3. If we make 2 jumps, that's 2/3. And then finally, if we make that 3rd jump, we have 3/3 or 1 whole. So let's look. Is 0/3 equal to 1? So if we put our point at 0/3, does it share the same point as 1 whole? Nope, it does not. So our answer here is not equal. And I'm just going to put NE. Save some time here. That means not equal. And let's go over to the next one. So I'm going to clear. Get rid of this guy. Get rid of this guy. And we're going to start again. So let's see. We have one whole. They want to know one whole. We're going to put a point there. And 2/3. Do they share the same point? They sure do not. So we're going to put not equal. Now let me get rid of those points. And let's do our last one. So we have 3/3. Here's 3/3. And we have one whole. Here's one whole. Do they share the same point? Yes, they do. So they are equal. So we can see, using our number line and putting our points on each of our jumps where they belong, we can see whether they are equal or not equal. And what we've learned is that one whole is always equal to all of the jumps out of the whole. So 3/3. If there were 4 jumps, it would be 4/4. If there were 100 jumps, it would be 100 100ths. Okay, so when the numerator and denominator are the same, that's equal to one whole. You have all of the pieces out of all of the pieces. Go ahead and do the share and show for lesson 8.6.